Ambassador Han Sol walked through the massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber. The room was huge, bigger than any building on Earth. 7 giant chairs sat in a circle, each one made for a different alien species. The walls were made of some kind of glowing crystal that hurt human eyes if you looked at it too long. Han Sol wore his best diplomatic uniform. Behind him walked Kyung-min, a military advisor with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Bo-ra, the diplomatic attaché, carried a datapad with all their notes from 3 months of talks, 3 months of getting nowhere. The aliens were already sitting in their chairs. Velthara of the Axiom Empire looked like a walking crystal sculpture. Her voice sounded like wind chimes when she spoke. The Hive Queen Nesca was a giant insect with 6 arms and compound eyes that reflected everything in the room. Prime-scale Zethran looked like a huge lizard wearing fancy robes. There were 4 other aliens, too. Each one represented a species that had been traveling space for thousands of years. They all looked at the humans like adults, watching children play with toys. "Ambassador Han Sol," Velthara said. Her crystal body flashed different colors as she spoke. "We have been patient with your people for many weeks. Today we will finish these talks." Han Sol sat down in the small chair they had given him. It was much lower than the alien chairs, making him look up at them like a student facing teachers. He knew this was done on purpose. "We are ready to continue our discussions," Han Sol said. He kept his voice calm and professional. Hive Queen Nesca made a clicking sound with her mandibles. "Discussions? We have made our offer clear. Your species will accept protected status under the Council. You will give up your independent colonies. You will share your technology with us. In return, we will keep you safe." Kyung-min's jaw tightened. Bo-ra wrote something on her datapad without looking up. "Your Majesty," Han Sol said, "humanity has been traveling space for 200 years. We have 37 colonies. Our people work hard and live in peace. We do not need protection." Prime scale. Zethran laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. 200 years? Child species. We have been among the stars for 5,000 years. The Axiom Empire is even older. You are babies playing with fire. "Perhaps," said another alien, one that looked like a floating jellyfish. "But dangerous babies. Humans fight too much. They are aggressive. This causes problems." Velthara's body flashed bright blue. "Yes, we have reports about human behavior. You fight among yourselves. You take risks other species would never take. You expand too fast, claim too much territory. This cannot continue." Han Sol felt his patience starting to crack. "Our expansion has been peaceful. We have not attacked any alien worlds. We have not stolen resources. We pay fair prices for trade." "But you could," Nesca clicked. "Humans are unpredictable. Today, you are peaceful. Tomorrow, you might decide to conquer. We cannot allow this risk. So you will solve this risk by making us slaves?" Kyung-min spoke for the first time. His voice was cold. The aliens looked shocked that the military advisor had spoken. In their cultures, only the main diplomat was supposed to talk. "Not slaves," Zethran said. "Protected citizens. You will live on worlds we choose. You will do jobs we approve. You will have good lives, but safe lives. Controlled lives." Bo-ra looked up from her datapad. She whispered something to Han Sol. He nodded. "The Council also wants our quantum drive technology," Han Sol said. "Our medical research, our agricultural techniques. You want us to give up everything that makes us independent. Knowledge should be shared," the jellyfish alien said. "Keeping technology to one species is selfish, dangerous. What if humans use their quantum drives for war? What if you use them for war against us?" Kyung-min asked. Velthara's body turned dark red. "You dare question our motives? We are the guardians of galactic peace. For 2,000 years, the Council has prevented wars between species. By controlling everyone, Bora said quietly. By maintaining order, Nessica corrected. Chaos brings death. Order brings life. Hansol stood up. The movement made all the aliens focus on him. And what about our choice in this matter? Choice? Zethran seemed confused. Young species do not get to choose. They learn. They grow. They become worthy of choice when they prove they can use it wisely. How long does that take? Hansol asked. For most species, 1,000 years, maybe 2,000. Depends on how fast they learn to behave properly. The chamber went quiet. Even the humming of the station's engines seemed to stop. Hansol looked at each alien face. Some looked bored. Others looked impatient. None looked like they cared what. Humans wanted. There is one more condition, Velthara said. Human genetics must be improved. You are too violent, too unpredictable. We have scientists who can fix this. Remove the aggressive genes. Make humans more peaceful, more cooperative. Kyung-min started to stand up, but Hansol put a hand on his shoulder. Bora's knuckles were white as she gripped her datapad. You want to change what makes us human? Hansol said. We want to make you better, Nesca said. Less dangerous to yourselves and others? Hansol was quiet for a long moment. He looked at his team. Kyung-min's face was stone cold. Bora's eyes showed barely controlled anger. 3 months of insults. 3 months of being talked down to. Like children. 3 months of aliens deciding humanity's future without caring what humans wanted. I need to discuss this with my government, Hansol said. Nothing to discuss, Zethran said. These are not requests. They are requirements. Accept them or face the consequences. What consequences? Kyung-min asked. Economic isolation, Velthara said. No trade with council worlds, no access to galactic shipping lanes, no protection if enemies attack you. And if we still refuse? Hansol asked. The aliens looked at each other. Some kind of silent communication passed between them. Then we will decide what is best for the galaxy, Nessica said. With or without human cooperation. Hansol felt something cold settle in his stomach. They were threatening his entire species, not with words about peace or protection, real threats. About invasion and control. He reached down and gathered his papers. Bora closed her datapad. Kyung-min stood up beside him. Ambassador, Velthara said. Where are you going? We are not finished. Hansol looked around the chamber one more time, at the giant chairs that made humans look small, at the aliens who thought they owned the galaxy, at the crystal walls that hurt human eyes. Yes, we are finished, he said. His voice was calm, but something had changed in it, something hard and final. Humanity withdraws from these proceedings. We reject your offers. We reject your protection. We reject your control. He started walking toward the door. His team followed. You are making a mistake, Zethran called after them. Humanity will regret this decision. Hansol stopped at the door. He turned around one last time. We will remember who offered friendship, he said, and who offered chains. The 3 humans walked out. Behind them, the aliens began talking in excited voices. Some laughed, others sounded angry. But Hansol heard something else in their voices. Relief. They were relieved that the troublesome humans were gone. They had no idea what they had just done. 3 weeks after the humans walked out of the council chamber, strange things began happening across the galaxy. At first, nobody paid much attention. A few missing cargo ships here and there was normal in space trade, but then the pattern became clear. Captain Zixmol was waiting at Centauri Station for his regular delivery of human-made medical supplies. His ship carried sick passengers who needed the special medicine that only humans seemed to know how to make. He had been waiting for 2 days. Where are the humans? He asked the station master, a small, furry alien named Pip-Talk. Pip-Talk looked confused. I do not know. The human ships always come on time. Always. For 5 years, never late. Zixmal checked his communication device. No messages from human traders. No schedule updates. Nothing. It was like the human shipping companies had just disappeared. On the other side of the galaxy, Dr. Tae Young was packing her research notes into metal boxes. Her laboratory on Nexus Science Station had been her home for 3 years. She had worked with alien scientists, sharing discoveries about diseases that killed millions across different worlds. Her alien colleague, Professor Meldar, watched her pack with sad eyes. "You do not have to leave, Tae-young. Your research here helps everyone. The Council's decision does not affect scientists." Tae-young sealed another box. Inside were notes about curing the Grey Death, a plague that had killed entire colonies. She was the only one who understood how the cure worked. "The Council made their choice," she said. "They think humans are too dangerous to make our own decisions. Fine. They can make their own medicines, too." "But people will die without your research," Meldar said. Tae-young stopped packing. She looked at her friend with sad but determined eyes. "People die every day, Meldar. My people might die if the Council decides we are too much trouble to keep alive. I have to protect my own species first." She picked up the last box and walked toward the door. Maybe the Council will learn that partnership works better than control. Similar scenes played out on dozens of worlds. Human teachers left alien schools. Human engineers abandoned construction projects half-finished. Human doctors closed their clinics and went home. But the strangest thing was happening in space itself. Commander Rextar of the Dominion Fleet was studying his patrol reports. His job was to watch the borders between different alien territories and make sure nobody started fights. "Sir," his aide Mordek said, "we have a problem." Rextar looked up from his data screen. "What kind of problem?" "The humans, sir. They are gone." "Gone how?" Mordek pulled up a star map on the main screen. Red dots showed where human ships had been spotted in the last month. Blue dots showed current human ship positions. There were no blue dots. 37 human colonies, sir. Hundreds of human ships. All their trade routes, all their patrol ships, all their civilian traffic. Gone. We detect no human activity anywhere outside their core systems. Rextar stared at the map. In all his years of military service, he had never seen an entire species just disappear from space. "Are they dead?" he asked. "No, sir. We still detect energy signatures from their colonies, communication signals between their worlds. They are alive. They just are not traveling anywhere." "That makes no sense," Rextar said. "Humans love to explore. They are always moving, always expanding, always visiting new places. It is what they do." Mordek nodded. "Yes, sir. That is what makes this so strange." On Earth, President Na Young stood in the Global Assembly Hall. Representatives from every human colony and nation filled the seats. The meeting had been called in secret, and the discussion had lasted for hours. "The vote is final," Na Young announced. "Humanity activates the Sovereignty Protocol. All human citizens are ordered to return to human space immediately. All non-essential contact with alien species stops now." A representative from the Mars colony raised her hand. "What about trade? Our economy depends on selling to alien markets." "We will adapt," Na Young said. "Humans survived for thousands of years before we met aliens. We can survive without them again." "And if they try to force us to accept their terms?" asked the representative from Kepler colony. General Do-hyun stood up from his seat. He was a tall man with gray hair and scars from old battles. "Then they will learn why the Council was right to fear human aggression." The chamber fell silent. Everyone understood what the general meant. Na Young continued her speech. "For too long, we have tried to fit into the galaxy the way others wanted us to. We made ourselves smaller, quieter, more polite. We thought if we were good enough, they would accept us as equals." She paused, looking around the room. "We were wrong. They will never see us as equals because they do not want equals. They want subjects. They want pets that do tricks on command. A few representatives nodded. Others looked worried. So we will show them what humans can do when we stop trying to please others, Na Young said. We will focus on ourselves. We will grow stronger. And when we are ready, we will return to the galaxy as equals, not as beggars asking for permission to exist. The applause was loud and long. Meanwhile, in a secret research facility beyond Pluto, Dr. Jun Ho was working on projects that would have terrified the Galactic Council. The best human scientists had been brought together in complete secrecy. How long do we have? Dr. Jun Ho asked his assistant, Sumin. Intelligence suggests the Council will wait 6 months to see if we change our minds, Sumin said. After that, they may try to force us to accept their terms. 6 months, Dr. Jun Ho repeated. Not long enough to finish everything, but long. Enough to surprise them. He looked at the prototype weapon on his work table. It used principles of physics that human scientists had discovered only last year. The aliens knew nothing about it. What about the quantum drive improvements? He asked. Dr. Hua Young's team finished the new design yesterday, Sumin said. Our ships will be able to travel 3 times faster than before, and the new stealth systems, well, we will be invisible to any sensors the aliens currently use. Dr. Jun Ho smiled. It was not a nice smile. Good. Let the Council think we are hiding in fear. When we come back, we will show them what human innovation can do. Back on the Council station, the alien leaders were having their own meeting. Some seemed happy that the humans were gone. Others looked worried. This is what we wanted, Velthara said. Her crystal body was glowing bright green, which meant she was pleased. The humans have removed themselves from galactic affairs. Problem solved. Hive Queen Nesca clicked her mandibles. But they took their technology with them, their medicine, their quantum drives, their agricultural techniques. Many worlds depended on human innovation. Temporary inconvenience, said Prime-Scale Zethron. Other species will develop similar technology in time. Rextar had been invited to give a military perspective. He did not look as confident as the others. With respect, Council members, humans do not simply retreat. In all our intelligence files, when humans face a problem, they either solve it through negotiation or they solve it through superior force. They never just give up. They have given up, Velthara insisted. They realize they cannot win against the combined power of the Council. Maybe, Rextar said. Or maybe they are preparing for something we do not expect. The other aliens laughed. What could humans do? They were young, weak, and outnumbered by thousands to 1. But Rextar did not laugh. He had studied human military history. He knew that humans at their most dangerous were humans who felt they had nothing left to lose, and the Council had just made humanity feel exactly that way. 6 months had passed since humanity disappeared from galactic space. What started as mild inconvenience had become a serious problem that nobody wanted to talk about. Merchant Captain Zilneth was having the worst year of his trading career. His cargo ship, the Star Prophet, used to make regular runs between 12 different worlds. The routes had been profitable because humans provided cheap, reliable shipping services between the major trade hubs. Now those routes were chaos. Captain, his navigator Yeldin said, the cargo shipment from Kepler-7 is 3 weeks late again. Zilneth rubbed his tentacles against his head, a sign of stress in his species. That is the 4th delayed shipment this month. What is the excuse this time? No human freight carriers available, Yeldin read from his report. The Axiom Shipping Company wants 5 times the normal price to carry the same cargo. 5 times! Zilneth's skin changed to an angry purple color. That is theft. But, sir, they are the only ones who can handle that volume. The human shipping networks used to carry 60% of all intersystem cargo. Without them, Zilneth did not need to hear the rest. The galaxy's trade system was falling apart. Human companies had not just provided ships. They had provided the coordination, the scheduling, the backup systems that kept everything moving smoothly. Without humans, every other shipping company was overwhelmed and charging huge prices. On the research station at Vega Prime, Professor Meldar was watching. His colleagues die, not from violence or accident, but from diseases that should have been easy to cure. The Gray Death outbreak on Tau Colony is getting worse, his assistant reported. 17,000 dead so far. Meldar closed his eyes. Dr. Tae Young could have stopped that outbreak in a week. Her research had turned the Gray Death from a planet killer into a minor inconvenience. But all her notes were written in human language with human medical concepts that other species could not understand. What about the research teams on other worlds? Meldar asked. Are they making progress on reproducing human medical techniques? Some progress on the simpler treatments, the assistant said. But the advanced cures, the ones that save the most lives, we cannot figure out how they work. Human medicine uses principles that our science does not recognize. Meldar felt sick. 3 years working with Dr. Tae Young, and he still did not understand how her mind worked. Humans thought about problems differently than other species. They made connections that seemed impossible, then proved those connections worked. And the food crisis? Meldar asked. Getting worse. Human agricultural techniques increased crop yields by 300% on most worlds. Without their knowledge, many colonies are facing famine. Meldar walked to his window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, humans were sitting on solutions to dozens of problems that were killing millions of aliens. But the Council had decided humans were too dangerous to negotiate with. How many aliens would die because of that decision? Meanwhile, in the hidden depths of space, something much more frightening was happening. Spy Master Kektra of the Shadow. Fleet ran the most advanced intelligence network in the galaxy. Her job was to know everything that happened everywhere, but she knew nothing about what humans were doing. Report, she ordered her top agent, Slickstar. No progress, Spy Master. We have attempted to infiltrate human space 47 times in the past 6 months. All attempts have failed. Failed how? Were our agents discovered, captured, killed? Unknown. They simply disappear. We send a ship toward human territory. The ship stops transmitting. We send another ship to investigate. That ship also stops transmitting. Kektra's 8 eyes focused on different data screens around her command center. Each screen showed the same thing, nothing. No intelligence from human space. No intercepted communications. No sensor readings. 17 ships lost? She asked. 17 ships, 43 agents, and 6 automated probe drones, Slickstar confirmed. Any distress signals? Any signs of battle? Any debris? Nothing. The ships enter the outer edge of human space and cease to exist. For the first time in her long career, Kektra felt afraid. Her species had been gathering intelligence for 3,000 years. They had spies in every major government, agents on every important world, sensors watching every trade route, but human space had become a black hole. Information went in, nothing came out. What about long-range sensors? She asked. Can we at least see what they are building? Slickstar activated another screen. It showed strange energy readings from the direction of human territory. The patterns made no sense. Our best scientists cannot identify these energy signatures, Slickstar said. They do not match any known technology in our databases. Could they be weapons? Possibly, or ships, or industrial equipment, or something completely new that we have never seen before. Kektra stared at the readings. The energy levels were enormous, but the patterns were unlike anything in recorded galactic history. How long since these readings started? She asked. 4 months ago. They have been getting stronger every week. In the secret research complex beyond Pluto, Dr. Jun Ho was looking at similar energy readings on his own screens, but he understood what they meant. The quantum fold generators are working perfectly, he told his team. We can now move objects through folded space-time without any of the usual energy signatures. Sumin looked excited. That means our ships will be completely invisible to alien sensors? Better than invisible, Dr. Jun-Ho said. To their sensors, our ships will exist in several different locations at the same time. Their targeting systems will not be able to lock onto us. What about the new weapons? Asked Dr. Hua Young. Dr. Jun-Ho smiled. The phase disruptors can destroy targets that exist in normal space while our ships remain in folded space. We can attack enemies who cannot even see us, let alone fight back. And the bioweapons research? Dr. Minseok's team has analyzed samples from 43 different alien species. If negotiations fail and they try to force us into submission, we can deploy diseases that will target their biology specifically while leaving humans completely unharmed. The room fell quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. Humanity was not just hiding from the galaxy. They were preparing for war unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. How much longer do we need? Sumin asked. 2 more months for the ship. Construction to finish, Dr. Jun-Ho said. 3 months to complete the weapons testing, 4 months to train enough crews to operate everything. And if the Council attacks us before then? Dr. Jun-Ho's expression became cold. Then they will discover that cornering a dangerous species only makes it more dangerous. Back on the Council station, the alien leaders were having an emergency meeting. The galaxy's economic problems were getting worse every day. Colony worlds were demanding help with food shortages. Shipping companies were threatening to stop service unless the Council subsidized their increased costs. This cannot continue, Velthara said. Her crystal body was flashing angry red colors. The humans must be forced to resume trade and share their technology. How? Asked Rextar. We do not even know where most of their ships are located. Our intelligence services report complete failure in monitoring human activities. Then we use direct military action, said Prime Scale Zethron. Send fleets to their colonies. Demand surrender. With what ships? Rextar asked. Half our patrol fleets are busy providing emergency cargo services because human shipping is gone. The other half are dealing with unrest on worlds facing food shortages. Hive Queen Nessica clicked her mandibles nervously. Perhaps we were too hasty. Maybe we should attempt new negotiations. Negotiations? Velthera's body flashed brighter red. They walked out on us. They insulted the Council. They must be punished, not rewarded. Punishment assumes we have the power to punish them. Rextar said quietly. The other Council members stared at him. What do you mean? Zethron demanded. Rexitar activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. Red areas marked regions where human activity used to be common. Now those areas were empty. Humans have withdrawn completely from 90% of galactic space, he said. But their home territories are now completely unknown to us. We cannot see their ships, cannot read their communications, cannot penetrate their defenses. So we have no idea what they are doing. For all we know, they are building the largest fleet in galactic history, or developing weapons that make our technology look like toys, or planning something we cannot even imagine. Impossible, Velthara said. They are young, primitive, weak. Are they? Rextar asked. 6 months ago, they provided 30% of the galaxy's shipping capacity, 40% of its medical innovation, and 20% of its food production. Primitive species do not become indispensable to galactic civilization. What are you suggesting? Nesca asked. I am suggesting that we made an enemy of the one species we could not afford to make an enemy of, Rextar said. And now we have given them 6 months to prepare for whatever comes next. The council chamber fell silent. Outside the station's windows, space looked normal. But somewhere in that darkness, humanity was doing something that even their best spies could not discover, and that terrified them more than any threat they had ever faced. 2 years had passed since humanity vanished from galactic space. The Council had learned to live with the economic problems, the supply shortages, and the mysterious silence from human territory. They told themselves that humans were probably struggling to survive without galactic trade. Then the scourge returned. The first warning came from the Outer Rim colonies. Captain Velkash was on patrol near the galactic edge when his sensors detected something impossible. Ships that looked like they were made from metal and flesh combined, moving through space in patterns that hurt to watch. "Command, this is Patrol 7, Velkash transmitted. "I am seeing unknown vessels at coordinates 77 Alpha. They do not match any known ship designs. Patrol 7, can you identify species of origin?" came the reply from Fleet Command. Velkash stared at his screen. The ships looked alive somehow, like giant insects made of metal and bone. They pulsed with their own light, and they moved in ways that normal ships could not move. "Negative, Command. These ships, they do not look like they were built by any species we know. Approach and attempt communication." Velkash felt fear crawl up his spine, but he followed orders. His ship moved closer to the strange vessels. As he got nearer, his sensors picked up more details that made no sense. The ships seemed to be growing, adding new parts to themselves, changing their shape as he watched. "Unknown vessels, this is Captain Velkash of the Galactic Patrol. Please, identify yourselves and state your purpose in this system." The response was not words. It was a sound that came through his communication system like screaming mixed with static. His ship's computer tried to translate it and failed. Then the alien ships attacked. Velkash had never seen weapons like these. Beams of energy that seemed to eat through his ship's shields like acid, projectiles that burrowed into his hull and then exploded from the inside. Worst of all, some kind of boarding pods that attached to his ship and began cutting through the metal. "All units emergency retreat," he transmitted. "These hostiles have superior firepower. Repeat, enemy forces are—" His transmission cut off as his ship exploded. Within hours, similar attacks were reported across the Outer Rim. Entire colonies went silent. Patrol fleets vanished without trace. The few survivors who escaped brought horrifying reports of ships that seemed alive, weapons that adapted to any defense, and creatures that looked like nightmares made real. The Council called an emergency session. "How many ships have we lost?" demanded Velthara. Her crystal body was flashing rapid patterns of orange and red, colors that meant extreme stress. Admiral Rextar stood before the Council with reports that he wished he did not have to give. "In the past 72 hours, we have lost contact. With 14 colonies, 37 patrol ships, and 6 major fleet units." "Impossible," said Prime Scale Zethron. "No force in the galaxy has that kind of military power." "These forces are not from our galaxy," Rextar said grimly. "Computer analysis suggests these are the Scourge, the same enemy that invaded our galaxy 3,000 years ago." The Council chamber fell silent. Every species had legends about the Scourge, an enemy from beyond the galactic rim that had nearly destroyed all civilization before mysteriously disappearing. "But our ancestors defeated them," Hive Queen Nesca clicked nervously. "The old records say they were driven away." "The old records say they retreated," Rextar corrected. "No one knows why. And now they have returned with better ships, better weapons, and better tactics than before." "What do our military analysts recommend?" Velthara asked. Rextar looked uncomfortable. "Full mobilization of all Council fleets, immediate evacuation of all Outer Rim territories, preparation of core world defenses for siege warfare." "Siege warfare?" Zethran demanded. "We are the Galactic Council. We have the most powerful military forces in known space." "Not anymore," Rextar said quietly. "Early engagement reports suggest that Scourge technology is centuries ahead of ours. Their ships can adapt to our weapons in real time. Their armor regenerates damage faster than we can inflict it. and their numbers appear to be unlimited. 2 weeks later, the situation had become desperate. The Scourge advance was unstoppable. Every fleet sent against them was destroyed or absorbed into their forces. Yes, absorbed. Scourge technology could somehow convert captured ships and even captured crew members into new Scourge units. Council worlds were beginning to panic. Refugees filled every available transport ship, fleeing toward the galactic core. Economic collapse followed close behind military defeat. In the council chamber, the debate had become frantic. "We must contact the humans," Rextar said for the 10th time in 2 days. "Absolutely not," Velthara replied. "We cannot show weakness by crawling back to them for help." "Pride will not stop the Scourge from eating our worlds," Rextar shot back. "The humans probably cannot help anyway," said Nesca. "Their military was never impressive. Small ships, limited numbers, primitive weapons." "Their military was never tested," Rextar corrected. "There is a difference. What could humans possibly do that our combined fleets cannot?" Zethran demanded. Rextar was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that changed everything. "Humans think differently than we do. They solve problems in ways we do not expect. The Scourge has adapted to fight us, but they have never fought humans." "And you think this matters?" Velthara asked. "I think it is our only chance." The debate continued for hours, but outside the council chamber, the reports kept getting worse. More colonies lost, more fleets destroyed. The Scourge advance was accelerating. Finally, Velthara made the decision she had never wanted to make. "Send a communication to human space," she ordered. "Request assistance." Deep in human territory, Captain Subin of the stealth ship Soul's Pride received the alien transmission. It was the first direct communication from the Council in 2 years. The message was formal and cold. "The Galactic Council requests human military assistance against external threats to galactic security. Please respond within 72 hours. Subin." Smiled. After 2 years of complete silence, the Council was finally ready to talk. But the tone of their message showed they still did not understand the situation. She recorded her reply. "Message received and understood. Humanity will consider this request. We will send our answer within the stated time frame." The transmission was sent. Then Subin activated her ship's quantum fold drive and disappeared into folded space-time. On Luna Base, General Do Hyun convened the War Council. Around the table sat the most powerful people in human space. Admiral Minji, commander of the new human fleet; Dr. Junho, director of advanced weapons development; Engineer Seok Jin, creator of humanity's new defensive systems, and others who had spent 2 years preparing for this moment. "Report on alien situation." General Do Hyun ordered. Admiral Minji activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. Red areas marked Scourge-controlled territory. It was spreading like a disease. "Scourge forces have taken control of approximately 15% of galactic space," she said. "Their advance is accelerating. Current projections suggest they will reach the galactic core within 6 months. "Council military response?" Do Hyun asked. "Total failure. Every engagement has resulted in Council defeat. The aliens are fighting the same way they fought 3,000 years ago. The Scourge has adapted to those tactics." "And our intelligence on Scourge capabilities?" Dr. Junho spoke up. "Extensive. We have been monitoring the situation since the first attacks. Scourge technology is impressive, but not invincible. Their ships use biomechanical systems that can adapt and regenerate. However, they are vulnerable to quantum phase weapons and dimensional disruption fields. In other words," Engineer Seok Jin added, "they cannot fight what they cannot understand. And they have never seen human technology." General Do Hyun looked around the table. "Recommendations?" "Help them," Admiral Minji said without hesitation. "The Scourge will not stop with alien worlds. Eventually they will come for us too. Better to fight them now while we have alien worlds as a buffer zone." "Agreed," said Dr. Junho. but we help them on our terms, not theirs. What terms? Do-hyun asked. Admiral Minji smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Complete human military autonomy, recognition of human territorial sovereignty, formal acknowledgement of humanity as an equal member of galactic civilization, and an apology for their previous behavior. They will never agree to that, Engineer Seok Jin said. Then they will face the scourge alone, General Do-hyun replied. The vote was unanimous. Captain Subin's reply reached the council exactly 72 hours after their request. The message was brief. Humanity agrees to provide military assistance against the scourge threat. Human fleet will deploy immediately. Expect our arrival at council space within 48 hours. Relief flooded through the council chamber. Finally, help was coming. But none of the aliens understood what kind of help they were about to receive. The Scourge's largest fleet was closing in on Axiom Prime, the capital world of Velthara's Crystal Empire. 3 billion aliens lived on that planet, and there was nowhere for them to run. The evacuation ships had been destroyed 2 days ago. Admiral Rextar commanded the last Council Defense Fleet from his flagship, the Eternal Watch. Around him, the remains of 7 different alien navies prepared for what everyone knew would be their final battle. Sir, his tactical officer reported. Scourge. Forces will reach firing range in 20 minutes. We count 437 hostile vessels. Rextar looked at his own force count. 68 ships, many of them damaged from previous battles. The aliens had fought bravely for weeks, but courage meant nothing against an enemy that could adapt to any weapon and regenerate from any damage. All ships, prepare for engagement, he ordered. We make our stand here. Then, something impossible happened. Space began to tear open. It started as small rips in the fabric of reality itself, like cracks in a broken window. Through the cracks came light that hurt to look at directly. The light grew brighter and wider until it became doorways into somewhere else. From those doorways came ships, human ships, but not like any that aliens had seen before. These vessels looked like they were built from crystallized starlight and flowing metal. They moved through space in ways that violated everything the aliens thought they knew about physics. The lead ship was enormous, easily twice the size of Rextar's flagship. Its hull seemed to phase in and out of normal space-time, making it impossible to focus on clearly. Unknown vessels, Rextar transmitted. Identify yourselves. The response came in perfect galactic standard, but with a voice that carried authority no alien had heard from humans before. This is Admiral Minji of the Human Defense Force, commanding the dreadnought New Horizon. Council forces will withdraw to minimum safe distance. We will handle the scourge. Admiral, Rextar replied, we appreciate your assistance, but our combined fleets should coordinate. Negative, came the cold response. Your weapons and tactics are ineffective against scourge forces. Withdraw immediately or risk destruction from our engagement protocols. Rextar felt his pride sting, but he looked at his tactical display. The human fleet was moving into position with precision that made his own forces look clumsy. Their ships flowed through space like schools of fish, each one covering the others, in patterns too complex to follow. All council ships, fall back to coordinates 79 Alpha, he ordered. The Scourge fleet had not waited for the aliens to sort themselves out. Their biomechanical ships surged forward, weapons charging with the sickly green light that had destroyed so many council vessels. Then the humans opened fire. The weapons were like nothing ever seen in galactic warfare, beams of pure energy that seemed to exist in several dimensions at once. The Scourge ships tried to adapt their defenses, but the human weapons kept changing faster than the aliens could respond. Quantum phase torpedoes phased through Scourge armor like it was not there, then exploded inside the enemy hulls. Dimensional. Disruptor fields made entire Scourge ships simply stop existing, as if they had been erased from reality. But the most terrifying weapon was the human ships themselves. Captain Gang Ho led a squadron of fighters that moved through space like living shadows. His ship could exist in normal space and folded space at the same time, allowing him to attack enemies who could not even see him. "Target the biomechanical fusion cores," he ordered his pilots. "Prevent regeneration." The human fighters swarmed through the Scourge fleet like angry wasps. They were everywhere and nowhere, striking without warning and disappearing before the enemy could respond. Admiral Min-ji watched the battle from the New Horizons Command Center. 2 years of preparation had led to this moment. 2 years of human scientists working in secret, developing weapons and tactics specifically designed to fight an enemy the aliens could not defeat. "Status report," she requested. "Scourge adaptation attempts failing across all vectors," her tactical officer reported. "Their biomechanical systems cannot process quantum phase technology. Estimated time to complete fleet neutralization, 14 minutes. Any council casualties?" "Negative. All alien forces are maintaining safe distance as ordered." Minji allowed herself a small smile. The Scourge had spent 3,000 years perfecting their ability to fight galactic civilization, but they had never faced humanity's unique approach to warfare. Humans did not just build better weapons, they built weapons that worked on completely different principles than anything the galaxy had ever seen. The battle was over in 18 minutes. When the quantum fire faded and the dimensional distortion settled, the Scourge fleet was gone. Not destroyed in the usual sense, but completely eliminated. Not a single piece of debris remained. The human fleet had not lost a single ship. Rextar stared at his sensor readings in disbelief. In 18 minutes, humans had accomplished what the combined council fleets could not do in weeks of fighting. "Admiral Minji," he transmitted, "that was incredible. How did you—" "Council forces will remain in defensive positions," Minji interrupted. "We will handle Scourge cleanup operations throughout the galaxy. But we should coordinate our efforts." "No, coordination is necessary. Human forces are sufficient for this task." The transmission ended. Rextar was left staring at his communication panel, feeling like a child who had just been dismissed by adults. Over the next 6 days, human fleets appeared throughout the galaxy. Every Scourge force was systematically destroyed with the same overwhelming efficiency. The biomechanical ships that had terrorized alien worlds were eliminated so completely that it was as if they had never existed. Dr. Tae Young, now director of xenological warfare, commanded the cleanup operations from her mobile laboratory ship. The Scourge had left behind biological contamination on every world they touched. Alien scientists had no idea how to deal with it. But humans had spent 2 years studying captured Scourge specimens in secret. Tae-Young's bioweapons targeted the alien contamination with surgical precision, cleansing entire worlds in hours. On day 7, the galaxy was free of Scourge influence. On day 8, Ambassador Han Sol returned to the council chamber. The room looked exactly the same as it had 2 years ago. Same giant alien chairs, same crystal walls that hurt human eyes, same condescending atmosphere, but everything had changed. The aliens no longer looked at Han Sol like he was a child. They looked at him like he represented something they had underestimated so badly that it could have cost them their entire civilization. "Ambassador, Han Sol," Velthera said carefully. Her crystal body was displaying colors that meant respect and caution. "The Council owes humanity a debt that cannot be easily repaid." "Yes," Han Sol said simply. "You do. We would like to discuss new agreements between our peoples." Hive Queen Nesca clicked nervously. "Perhaps terms more suitable to both sides." "What does humanity want?" Prime Scale Zethron asked, the question that should have been asked 2 years ago. Han Sol sat down in his chair, but this time the aliens had provided a chair that was the same height as theirs. A small gesture, but important. "Humanity wants recognition as an equal member of galactic civilization. he said. Complete sovereignty over our territories and internal affairs. Respect for our right to expand and explore as we choose. And a formal apology from this council for your previous attempt to subjugate our species. The council members looked at each other. 2 years ago, they would have laughed at such demands. Now they had seen what happened when humans were pushed too far. Agreed, Velthara said without hesitation. All terms are acceptable, Nesca added quickly. The council formally apologizes for our previous misunderstandings, Zethran said. Hansol nodded. Good. Humanity is prepared to resume normal, diplomatic and trade relations with all species who treat us as equals. And military cooperation? Rextar asked hopefully. Your fleet capabilities would be valuable for galactic security. Our military will respond to genuine threats to galactic civilization, Hansol said. But humanity will never again accept orders from this council or any other authority. We fight when we choose to fight, how we choose to fight. The aliens agreed to that too. They were not in a position to argue, as the formal agreements were signed. Hansol thought about the journey that had brought them to this moment. 2 years ago, humanity had been seen as a young, weak species that needed to be controlled for its own good. Now the galaxy knew the truth. When humans felt threatened, they did not break. They evolved. They adapted. They became stronger than anyone thought possible. President Na Young's voice echoed in Han Sol's memory from her speech 6 months ago. Humanity will return to the galaxy as equals, not as beggars asking for permission to exist. Mission accomplished. Later that day, Han Sol stood on the observation deck of his ship, looking out at the stars. Captain Subin joined him there. Any regrets about how things turned out? She asked. Han Sol was quiet for a moment. The scourge, threat was real. Millions of aliens would have died if we had not intervened. But part of me wonders if the Council learned the right lesson. What do you mean? They learned not to underestimate humanity, Han Sol said. But did they learn to treat other species with respect? Or did they just learn that some